What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you, as always, by Off the Record. We love Off the Record, and so do you. You constantly email me to tell me about how much you love it. 3 emails this week. Dismiss, dismiss, dismiss. These guys are just absolutely crushing it over there. I absolutely love Off the Record. Use code TST25 on the Off the Record app, or go to offtherecord.com/TST to get 10% off all your legal bookings from Off the Record. As a little gift from us. They cover 97% of America. They work with local lawyers who know the jurisdiction where you've been pulled over and know that system, and boy, do they get it done. Again, on the app, code TST25, or with the website, it's offtherecord.com/TST. Very, very easy. All right. On this episode of the program, 998, Zack and I are back in studio. A little late, but we were both traveling. Zack went to Tennessee to go play with old cars, and then Austin to go do something very fun. And I went to Las Vegas. I took the Taycan, and some things happened. I talked about that. Plus, an update on the Nissan POWs electrical issues. And Johnny, our friend, had a great Cars and Coffee. We talk about that. Plus, and a little tease about Willow Springs. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's go. Guten Morgen. I shouldn't be here right now because the original plan was to spend the night in Las Vegas last night. And then I decided not to do that and instead to drive home. Right. Yeah. We were when you said last night, or the show's in the morning, right? And I just said yes. I didn't go, actually, we said it was at 2, but the morning is better because I'm now driving home instead of staying over a second night in Vegas.
Yeah. In my defense, when we set that schedule, it was like 12:30 a.m. on East Coast time where I was, and I was like, yeah, sure, show morning Friday. Yeah. Sometime.
It just sometimes things just work out.
They do. And
so, I drove back last night. And you had like a double head or a multi-leg trip, and I want to hear about it because it was fun. Mm-hmm. But since we just started there, the drive I went to go drive e-tron GT Performance, the new fast one, which I can't talk about until April 1st. So forgetting that, drove the Taycan there and back, and there was a new milestone for me with EVing, actually. I was not held up by the car even 1 second. When I stopped, I plugged the car in, right?
Oh, I see.
But
did you charge it at the?
I charged at the hotel overnight in Vegas. So I left the house with a full charge in the morning, went to Baker, plugged in, walked inside, got a Jersey Mike's tuna sub on wheat. Ate that, enjoyed being outside for 5 minutes, checked email real quick. Maybe I was stopped for 15 minutes. Pee, sandwich, eat, emails, walk back to the car, unplug back in, hotel. Oh, and the reverse, same thing, but I made it to Barstow.
Did they have charging at the hotel or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, charging at the hotel, and the valets did it. So I just valeted the car, and Audi. I was on an Audi program, and Audi did streamline that process, but it was something the hotel does offer. So this is replicable. And then the other way, started with a full charge, got to Barstow, plugged in, and just went inside long enough to pee and eat a short dinner. I mean, I think I was there for maybe 15, 16 minutes, back in the car, made it home, 60 miles left. I did not have to wait for the car, period. And it was
Were all
a
the
real
chargers
delight.
EA?
Yeah.
And also, it's a testament to the plug-in pay situation if the valets can take your car and just plug it in and it just goes, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they put it on a level 2 overnight or if they put it on a fast charger.
But either way, you didn't have to give them a credit card. You didn't have to do anything like that. It just worked.
No, here's the car.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
Good stuff.
On the other hand, the car is doing 2 things that will need to be addressed, neither of which is terminal. But because the point of this whole thing is to talk about what happens with this car.
Sure.
The first thing it's been doing since I bought it, but I had one software update done that fixed basically everything else except this one issue, which is that every once in a while, and I think it happened 4 times in this trip to Vegas and back, which is 600 miles of highway driving. I have all the ADAS turned off, right? But I'm using radar cruise control. Mm-hmm. So I'm steering. I have no steering assist at all. But I'm steering. It will all of a sudden, out of nowhere, flash a red thing and say "Take over steering." And yeah.
He's already pulled over. He can't pull over any farther.
and I have to do this. I have to
wiggle
make
it?
this where I have to do a little jerky on the wheel, and then it goes away. But I am already steering, so that's odd.
I wonder if the Taycan has the sensors in the wheel, or it's all about the torque put on the wheel.
Right.
Remember we drove that car, I can't remember which one, but like if your hand was in one, it was Lucid.
Lucid,
if your hand's in the wrong spot, it thinks your hand's not on the wheel.
So I called our contact at Porsche, the person who's the head of PR for Taycan, who's
John Porsche.
John Porsche. Mm-hmm. John Porsche and Steve Taycan. They're great guys.
Steve Taycan. We named it after me.
Yeah. So I called him and he goes, "Oh, okay." He looked up my VIN and said there's a power steering update that you can get for this car. And so I'm going to try to do that. Hopefully that will.
Is it OTA?
No.
Okay.
It is. There's no. It's hard. It's whatever. You have to.
It's OTG. It's on the ground.
You have to go to the dealer.
Yeah.
You have to go to the dealer
Through the wire.
And the other one is brand new. And it's funky. So 2 stops at fast chargers on this trip. Both of them, okay, immediately, I'm finished. I unplug, hang up the thing, get in the car, power it on. The cars were off while charging, right? Get in the car, turn it on. Immediately, just sort of a faint, like, little must smell from the HVAC. And then I realized very quickly that no air conditioning. It's just blowing. It thinks it's blowing cold air, but it is not. And I'm like, oh, that's so again. With the same phone call. This is the reason for the phone call to our friend at Porsche was actually for the HVAC. And while you're in there, hey, this thing is happening with the ADAS. So basically, the answer in both occasions, the fix was turn off the car, get out of the car, hit lock in a 1, 2 in that cadence. Lock twice.
Interesting.
And then walk like far enough away from the car that it won't detect the remote, the fob, and hang out for like 2 to 3 minutes, and then it comes right back on.
And that fix the AC?
It's a sleep cycle reset. There's apparently like soft resets and hard resets.
Okay.
And most things, like it's the equivalent of holding both buttons down on your iPhone.
Right.
It's that, as opposed to like a some big, but
weird.
So there's absolutely nothing wrong with the climate control system.
Nothing wrong with the condenser. It's not
no, nothing.
R134.
No.
Okay.
It's just like some software hiccup is like not having the air conditioning come on, which driving on it happened on the way out and on the way back. And I've plugged in
the desert.
Yeah, on the way out it was 94 degrees and bigger, and I was like, oh boy, please don't let this be a thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But fortunately, I called right away, and I went 10 minutes.
Okay.
I fixed it real quick, and I was very stoked when the fix worked.
Of course, because that's a real simple thing. All you have to do is push 2 buttons and wait, and the relief that washes over you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
so that's cool. But that is still a problem. So we're traveling next week to the East Coast, and so I'm going to drop it off at the dealer, and they can fuck with it while we're gone.
Are the windows tinted on the car at all? Mm-mm. Oh man, so 94 degrees, you'd feel every degree of it. Like it would be a greenhouse.
For those 10 minutes, I drove with the front windows down about halfway, and it wasn't bad. It was all right. And the ventilated seats still work because they suck. Right. They don't blow.
So it's a cool seat.
It doesn't actually use the. So yeah, it was. I would have been fine, but it was like.
It's just something I've noticed I'm more sensitive to now because I've got good UV tint on my car. Sarah has it on her car, and then when we get in a rental or something, I just feel like I'm getting hit by all the UV rays.
No, we're getting tints.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for a client to book them so that when the guy comes, they can just do mine too, rather than make a separate appointment for just my car.
Drive over there.
I don't care that much.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was, despite the HVAC thing, which, good thing it's literally just some software hiccup that can easily be fixed, obviously. Just the fact that we are at a place where that kind of a drive, and granted, it's just LA to Vegas. It's 285 miles. It's not, but it's 5,000 feet up going there, and it's 5,000 feet down coming back. So it's just 285 miles. Almost no regular EV will actually make it on one. That charger where I stopped in Baker, that is the biggest Tesla supercharger that I've personally ever seen. There's probably, there's got to be over 100 stalls.
Whoa.
And it's full of fucking Teslas. So it's not like long-range Teslas can do this, either. And by the way, your bladder and your hunger are probably not going to do, unless you're some kind of road warrior, you're not doing 4.5, 5 hours without stopping for something. Guys, we got to take a quick break today for Delete Me. They are bringing that heat, making it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. I've now been with Delete Me for a couple of months, and man, they get it done. They work in the background. You don't hear from them but for once a month, but they are always going. They're doing the hard work of wiping my and my family's personal information from data broker websites. They know my privacy is worth protecting, and they offer an ongoing, not one time, but ongoing service to help stop those robocalls, reduce the spam emails, and protect my privacy. And I have in my hand, I printed it out. It comes digitally, but I printed it out. It's my fourth report, my privacy protection program. It's got a summary on the cover letter from my privacy advisor telling me my status. And in March of 2025, Delete Me found and reviewed 2,626 listings. 12 of my listings were removed. 10 data brokers had my personal info. 89 instances of personal info found. They did a lot of searching, and they sent me a very, very detailed report from the data broker websites where they found different bits of my information, past addresses and friend connections and things like that. It's pretty good. And then they show you what they've deleted. I like it very much. And you can get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/tire and use promo code TIRE at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/tire and then enter code TIRE at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/tire, code TIRE. And now back to the show.
Lucid, their big battery says they can do, 400, wasn't it?
The Lucids go, I think the Lucids real world do go the farthest, but you're going to go 300 miles, 400 miles without stopping? Come on.
It's a long time.
That's a terrible thing to do. Don't do that to your body. We should be telling people to not do that because you're going to have problems.
Well, yeah. Doctors say that if you work at a desk, that you're supposed to get up and walk around every hour or something like that to get your blood moving and prevent clots and help you back out and stuff. So you shouldn't do it in a car either. Yeah.
There's going to be a few people that are like, fucking, that commute in EVs or really drive EVs all over the place and are going to be like, yeah, dummy, this is how it is now. But for me, this is the first time that I did that drive at my specific pace. Now, I wasn't going 120 miles an hour across the desert. But I had the Air Radar cruise control set at a reasonable speed. It was set for 75 pretty much all the way. And even though in a gas car I probably would have been driving faster, there's no moral justification for, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, the speed limit's 70. I set the cruise at 75. Some people went faster than me. Some people didn't. But, like, I can't complain because, like, I can't do 90 the whole way and make it in one charge. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that.
I think it's a problem that doesn't really exist. It's almost like it's something you can say as a negative about an EV, but really there's not that many people that would want to drive that long in a gas car anyway. So it's kind of not a real issue.
I mean, like, you drive all the time. If you were driving from here to Las Vegas, wouldn't you stop at either Baker or in a gas car?
Well, here's a good example. We drove Sarah's RAV4 from Atlanta here.
Yeah.
2,000 miles, whatever. That thing, when you fill it up, has a range of 487 miles. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. We never, ever drove it from full to empty. That's just way too long. We always stopped about the halfway point because bathroom, mice, back, whatever it was. You just get fidgety. You need to move around a little bit.
Yeah. So, like, I was able to stop at points that by the time I stopped, dude, I had to pee so bad both times. Like, the car went 10% further than my bladder.
You got to get that catheter.
Although then I guess I would be pissing myself.
Yes.
My bladder did make it to where, but it wasn't pleasant.
It was a race?
No, it wasn't a race. It just wasn't fun.
So you had to do the quick walk?
There was a quick walk.
They did?
There was a quick walk.
Hold the door for someone so they get inside quicker and you're like...
There was the plug-in charge works great. You just plug it in. And
you're talking about peeing or electricity?
Both. Okay. No, electricity. But I don't like to walk away from the car until I see the thing go pa-ching, the green check mark.
Yeah.
That it's 10 seconds. That's really, but it was a long, and you start going, if I pee near this, is it going to arc up my dick?
Don't pee on the charger. I might.
No, do not do that.
Pee into the vent.
Yeah, man, I despite whatever little stupid hiccups, this car is fabulous.
Continues to be a good purchase.
Oh, it's fucking extraordinary. It's so great. It feels like $1 million, not like regular car.
They're awesome looking too. You got the right one.
Yeah.
I am jealous every time when I see it. I go, that's a nice thing.
Wheels.
Yeah, the wheels.
The tires have arrived.
Yeah,
the tires have arrived at HRE, and
because right now, especially because it's parked next to Eric's white Maverick, so there's a lot of rental car happening in the driveway right now. But when you put a white car on wheels, suddenly
and we get rid of the black plastic.
Also, that's
most of the black plastic's going away.
Yeah.
It's going to be painted.
There's a white E36 with gold BBSs over at the body shop right now, which just looked awesome. So your car's going to have some wheels. It's going to look good.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, that's Vegas. Desert, good times, all fun things. Yay. How exciting.
Cool.
And obviously, whatever is hiccuping with the software will be fully covered under my unlimited mile warranty.
At least you didn't drive it to the dealership to watch a guy just hold two buttons.
Yeah.
And then hand it back to you.
Yeah. Let's see. You went to Tennessee and then Austin.
Yep.
Which one do you want to go? Second part first or first part second?
I don't think I can talk about the Austin adventure because it was a road and track. It's for a road and track article.
You can give you can just give the basics.
I can.
Yeah. I do this all. I do this all the time. Yeah. No, the story isn't a surprise. It's your wordsmithing and the photography that'll make it a thing.
The photos are going to be sick.
Yeah. Give the Cliff's Notes version of what you're doing.
Well, the assignment is how to jump a car.
Yeah. All right. So that's
something I've wanted to do since I was a child.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I would fall asleep watching Dukes of Hazzard a lot, and what was rad. I don't want to share too much. So I went to Rally Ready.
Yeah.
Great place to do it. Nice, safe place to do it. They had 3 different size jumps. No one else was there. Dave, the owner, who we know very well, came in to be my instructor briefly.
Yeah.
He showed me how to do it in his modified Ram diesel daily driven truck. There was a coffee grinder in the back seat, and we're going over a tabletop, and I just look back, and it's floats up, and it floats back down.
Yeah, if you do it right, it should be a pretty natural flow.
There's a big difference between when you get it right and you get it a little wrong.
Yeah, that's kind of when we were talking about this story in the brainstorming session for the magazine, that was kind of like what it was. Like,
there's a lot.
There's a science. It's like, what is the science?
There's a couple sciences, which I'm really excited about. I have a call today with someone who builds very big ramps for the very big ramp thing. And then
next door is a company that builds skate ramps.
Oh, I'm talking about like
no, I understand, but like they probably have like
this person built ramps for a famous BMX camp, and they also built ramps for Nitro Circus and shit. So like the science is the same. And then I think I'm going to talk to someone next Tuesday who does giant record-setting ramp-to-ramp jumping.
Yeah,
Mr. Faust.
Oh, I was going to just say, have you called Tanner yet?
He's out of the country, but he said we can talk next week.
Oh, yeah. Tanner, he knows all the math on jumping cars. Yeah, that's the guy.
There's a lot of... I'm curious what the similarities are when you're doing, smaller jumps of 60 feet versus... What did he do? 357 on the Hot Wheels thing, whatever. I mean, it was a football field. Yeah. So that shit's insane. And I'm wondering what
he does movie
different.
Jumps, too. And movie jumps have to be really exact.
Oh, because of camera's placement and stuff?
Well, like a lot of times, camera placement and there's other, like if you're doing a spectacle ramp jump, like not to take anything away from this, but it's just you in the ramp. Often in like movie jumps, like in I don't know, Gone in 60 Seconds or like The Rock or those kind of movies, there's like other moving pieces around. So, a couple feet left or right could be problematic.
Yeah, very true. His record jump was 332 feet. It was beaten recently by a guy whose name escapes me, but went a little bit further. But I know Tanner, so that's who I'm like.
The difference is we have his phone number.
Right, exactly. So that's why I reached out to him. No disrespect to the current record holder.
Well, that'll be a great story.
Yeah, it was a nutty day. Yeah. And I can tell you more about it once the
when the issue comes out.
The issue comes out. But Ranger Raptor, because this doesn't really that's the vehicle that was used for it, and that's not the key to the story.
Yeah, but we also took it to King of the Hammers.
What a great truck that is, dude. Like I said, I had the whole place to myself. So the return, back to one, as we say in production, going back to the start line for the shots, was at times more fun than the actual jump itself, because it was like, I have a triple S turn. Well, traction off, two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
That thing is a lifted rally car, and this was hard gravel versus the soft dirt that we had at King of Hammers. So you had more speed. The angle you can get and the steering angle it provides is really shocking. I mean, I thought I was going to loop it once, and it was like, no, just add more angle. It was fine. In 4-high, of course, I mean, you've experienced that. Like, the acceleration difference is quite significant.
Oh, it's all wheel spin.
This thing just hangs it out, and it was. We were in the same spot. We did our crossover comparison. Pendulum turns, does it. Slaloms, does it. It feels so much lighter on its feet when the ground is a little bit firmer, but I was really impressed at that whole truck.
Well, it's got the long wheelbase, it's got the torque, it's got the suspension travel.
But it still had an agility that the F-150 Raptor does not feel like that, of course.
It has a way quicker steering rack. Way quicker steering rack than, it's a smaller steering wheel, and it's a faster ratio than the F-150.
And it's a lighter thing. That is a great truck.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
When I picked it up, we found out later, the ride felt too stiff around town. I was like, man, it felt like it was better in L.A. And then we dropped the PSI, the tires down a little bit before jumping. Turns out they were 10 over OEM. So I went, okay. It's not my brain remembering this truck with rosy-colored glasses.
I thought you were going to tell me there were shipping spreaders in the springs. I was like,
if there were, they're powder now. I'll tell you what. They are squished into pancakes now, my friend.
That'll be fun. That's a good time. Okay,
Super
but
fun.
Kyle Kennard from Motor One was with you in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And he said you had a good time, but he didn't want to ruin the story, so he didn't tell me what was going on.
So I was hanging out with him, Zack Bowman, who used to work at Road and Track with you, and then Sam Smith, who also used to work there at the same time.
And Zack Bowman reviews UTVs now.
Yes. He ran UTVrider.com for 3 or 4 years. And now him and Sam have a new website venture called Dirt Hammer, which is going to be a very cool thing. I don't know how much they've talked about it, so I don't know what to spill. But just check it. Just follow Dirt Hammer on Instagram.
Okay.
But the quick character descriptions of these gentlemen, so people understand. there's a lot of Venn diagram overlap. We're all the same kind of idiot, the four of us, but Zach Bowman likes to rescue old rusty American shit. He owns 2 or 3 Willys Jeeps, an old F-150. Kyle Kennard, I found out, has 3 race car projects.
Yeah.
In addition to having a kid, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
And then Sam's got the old BMW rescue shop going on with his crazy 2002 and some other stuff. But they've all driven a lot of old cars. So the main story from this place is that Zach's neighbor, her husband passed away and left an E-Type 4.2 and a GT350 clone, a 66, that is a perfect recreation of an original one. And it was built by incredibly notable people. And we get done with our camping trip, and Zach's like, "Oh, I'll go ask her if we can take him for a drive," because she likes to see the cars exercised. That's the best neighbor in the world, right? Sure enough, she's like, "Oh yeah, go have fun." So we got this powder blue periwinkle E-Type, which is the best color for Jaguars, period. Everyone who has an E-Type or
it
a
is a good
C1
color.
Corvette, ooh, it's good.
Yeah, or an early Corvette. I mean, any early 60s sports car, everyone made a version of that color.
Yeah, that's true.
For a good reason.
It shows so much shape, and it's not an offensive, aggressive. It's not red, and it's not trying to be registration green.
Yeah.
It's just a nice, approachable color. But so the Mustang rolls out of the garage, and I text Sarah a picture, and I say, "We might be buying a Mustang."
Guys, support for The Smoking Tire comes from the podcast Drive with Jim Farley. You know Jim Farley. He's the CEO of Ford. Not only that, this guy has a GT40 and a Cobra and all kinds of amazing vintage American metal that he races wheel to wheel at places like Goodwood. He's a boss, and you got to check out this show. It's where Jim talks to some of his favorite people about what they drive and what drives them to succeed. They just started season 3 with some sick new guests, including Vicky Butler Henderson, the British racing driver and fifth gear personality, Randy Nonnenberg from Bring a Trailer, and T-Pain, the musician turned drifter. The guy's got skills, actually. I listened to it the other day. It is great. Jim is a great interviewer. He's insightful, and it's interesting hearing these folks open up to him. I really am about it. I support Jim's venture here. To listen to Drive with Jim Farley, just search Drive with Jim Farley in any podcast app. That's Drive with Jim Farley, and thank you for supporting this episode.
Because it's for sale.
Oh, really?
And Sarah loves fastback Mustangs. That's her only favorite car, really. And I want to own something old. And so we take him for a drive up in the mountains, and I'm having the best time. And Zach and Sam are making strong pitch because they both have driven.
That you should be buying
that
this
I should
car.
be buying this car. Because Sam had driven at some point an original car that was worth $1 million. And it's this one's pretty damn close. Zach has built a ratty but fun Mustang. So they are
Sam
the Mustang
had a
whisperers.
GT350 clone many years ago. 10 years ago he had one.
Very true.
That he sold to Larry Webster.
I think that's correct.
Or did he buy it from Larry? I think he sold it to Larry. To Larry Webster.
So the
that
problem
was a pretty nice car,
with having friends like this is that I see them as qualified, let's call it financial advisors.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
Their votes of confidence carry weight because they know.
Yeah.
So, they're the guys going, well, this is a good car. I'm like, well, then this is a good car.
Yeah, no. That's not how that works.
But it is, Matt. It is how that works. You need some outside experts, and that's what they are.
No, I've had people. Yeah. I've had people that are, quote, that they're experts based on the fact that they've owned one. Mm-hmm. Be like, you should own one.
Yes, correct.
And neglect a lot of what the real ownership experience was like in that process.
Sure.
But they're not actually qualified to do a PPI on this particular car.
Well. But they kind of are. I mean,
they could be.
Zach has rebodied and rebuilt so many vehicles. I trust his mechanical ability. I mean, Sam too.
Well, but you said that they were encouraging you in a way that led me to believe that they were steering you wrong.
I don't think they're steering me wrong.
Okay.
But the problem is that when you've had a fun weekend and everyone's in a great mood, and then someone's like, "Do you want to buy a rad car?" and you, Zach, and Sarah don't have children, and Zach's a little bit of an impulsive idiot. He's like, sure. And everyone's going, do it. And so I text Sarah, and I'm like, guess what? We might buy a Mustang. And then we
texted me the same thing.
Yeah. And we talked on the phone, and we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Was it very expensive?
It was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
It was pretty expensive. It wasn't as much as your Taycan, but it wasn't far.
Oh, it was like started with 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
not
probably
irrational.
one of those things that's like worth that.
Right.
But like, does Zack and Sarah need that? I bet. I mean, just from what you described, that I've seen. No, it does. It seems too nice for you a little bit.
It's kind of nice. It's not you. I would be nervous beating the shit out of it.
Well, that's
which is
probably
a problem.
the wrong car for you.
Like Zack's car, you can beat the shit out of. This car, I would be tempted, but also afraid to, which is very true. And really, it's like, we're, without getting into politics, we're in like, let's call it interesting, unsure financial times. And I'm well aware of that. And I was very well aware of that up until the point I drove this Mustang. And then I was like, well.
And then you go, well, I have one more dollar than this costs.
It's all falling apart anyway.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Send it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send it, spend it. Let's go.
Pretty much.
Let's listen to Seinfeld. Every cent.
See,
spend.
That's a great point. I should have used that as a counterpoint. Yeah.
Listen, a billionaire just told me to spend every cent. So
if it cost a little less, we would have done it. But it's expensive, so we have to back away from that situation.
Yeah, yeah.
But
did you leave a card and say, "Call me if you're desperate"?
No, but I'll text Zack.
Text Zack.
If it's this much.
Text Zack and be like $29.9 standing.
If she wants to go to a good home, which she would, and get exercised, because she does. I mean, that's what's been pretty cool about this person. I don't want to blow up her spot and send other buyers to her door.
Oh no, nor should you. But yeah, I thought I was like, oh Hannah, like Zack might be coming home with a cool car. Like, all right, fine. She was like, and you're gonna have to give him parking, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. She was like, okay.
I like that I had to get ran by her for it. I did. I had to ask you because I knew, because Sarah was like, where are we going to park it? And I said, already solved. Matt said we can park it in Gardena. And she goes, so we have to go to Gardena to get it? And I was like, that's not far. We climb right there.
Listen, you want free or not?
No. She wasn't mad at you. She was running past me. She's like, how often are we going to drive it? How often? How all these other things.
Yeah, well, you'd have to drive it a lot. That's the point. If you buy something like that and you don't drive it a lot, it's stupid. Right?
2 other funny stories from that. They're very quick. So Zack has a new truck. He's been driving an old truck, but he has a relatively new Ram pickup truck. And when you ask him what kind of truck he has, you have to be very specific in how you describe this truck, because it is a white space power wagon. It's a Ram Power Wagon, but it's white.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want to emphasize that when you describe this to people, you need a double space. You need a long pause.
Yeah. Poorly named.
Like the valet, be like, oh, which truck is yours? You'd be like, the Power Wagon. They'd be like, which one? Like, it's the white. It's Power Wagon white. Power Wagon white.
Man, I
Power
suppose.
Wagon, white.
Yeah. Oof. Are you? What parts of the country do you think a valet is saying to you? Which Power Wagon?
This part.
Okay, cool.
There's
just
a lot.
checking.
We went off-roading, more like gravel roading, but we went out into the sticks to go just basically as an alternative to the Blue Ridge Mountain Parkway. You can take a gravel road the whole way, which is fucking cool.
Really?
Now, you get to the end of it, you realize there's no signs that say the gate is closed, which it was. So we got to see that road twice, and we missed breakfast.
Oh,
so
how far was it? Was the road?
That's probably 30 minutes. So.
Okay, but it's like pretty and nice.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah. It's along a river the whole way. Yeah. There's fishing spots the whole time.
Oh, cool.
But I bring it up because we ended up in a line with 5 other trucks. People going fishing, like, this is truck country.
Yeah.
Or Previa country.
No, I wasn't saying like a lot of trucks, but just specifically Power Wagons.
I saw a lot of Rams out there.
Right.
I saw a Ram dealership too. So, yeah,
right,
I think there's a lot of those.
Okay.
So you got to specify.
Which one?
Which Power Wagon.
Yeah, and you definitely don't say it flat. You just definitely don't do that.
I think it's Power Wagon, white. It's the way you'd write your name in a bibliography. That's how you have to describe your vehicle.
It's fucking great.
That was funny. So, yeah, great trip. Almost came back with an old car. And now, of course, I'm going to start shopping for old beat-up Mustangs that I can drive the shit out of.
I mean, you're in the right city for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, oh, man, I've been thinking about project cars just for, like, funsies.
You?
Yeah, because I'm,
Okay.
Because the mind wanders.
Yeah, sure.
The mind always wanders. The Manx is coming, the Countach is in process. No more money is being spent on cars. But I was just thinking that a 6-liter V8 in a 4-seat Mercedes convertible would be a pretty cool car.
You haven't stopped thinking about that since you asked the guy.
You have to wear a Coogee while driving it, but that's okay. I have one.
So explain to the people what we're talking about. Have you before?
This is the 1995 Mercedes E320 Cabriolet that was like $90,000 when it was new. And, they seem to be terminally $15,000. And the idea would be to take this. Oh, there you go. Though that red one is sort of a similar vibe.
This is Coogee spec.
Yeah.
For sure.
So basically you would take the 320 and you would do an AMG body conversion and make it look like the E500, but then you'd actually put the E500 powertrain in it also. And you wouldn't necessarily, I'd have to really do some research on if you want the actual 4-cam E500 engine or if you really want the single-cam one for cruising around. You actually might prefer the torque of the single-cam engine. But either way, yes, you would have an appropriate section in your closet for clothes that you would wear while driving such a vehicle.
Okay, can I go back? I say this respectfully. You say project car. I think we're talking about a car that you have built.
Well, someone has to build that. It doesn't exist.
Right. You wouldn't build it.
No.
Okay. You would assemble a wardrobe.
I have like things to do.
I'm just wanted to. Okay.
I would assemble a wardrobe. Yes. I would.
That would be pretty rad. The engine would fit, right? No
the engine does fit. Yeah, it's the same.
And then you just get the fenders.
Yeah. It's not like rocket science. Like it can be done.
I think when you described this to me first, for some reason I thought you were turning a 4-door into a 2-door cab, and I was like,
"Oh
no,
no,
that's some surgery."
No, they already make this. These fucking things are everywhere.
Sure.
And if you were willing to commit to it to being a speedster, then you could probably.
I would want to see renderings because the speedster hump, and when we talked to Jerry about this, it really depends on the artist and the sculptor.
You know what would be crazy? Here, how about this? What if you did SWB? What if you took out the back seat and shortened it?
Now.
And made a short wheelbase.
I mean, I like this.
Shorten the whole car.
Yeah, sure. No one's done a wide body.
We talked about the fucking, look at that one to the right. Yeah. No. Left. That fucking flip tail, that looks cool as hell. That's like that one is like the pre-merger AMG body kit. My idea is just to make it look exactly like the E500, which is more subtle.
Yeah, no, I don't think these flares work with the design. These are round, and the body to me is very square.
Those are fucking Ice-T 1989. Actually, this car came out in the 90s. But
you need the subtle flares that start at the front bumper. Yeah, for sure. This would be cool.
But I think the E500 uses a different grill or some other different bits. But it should look exactly like the E500 is the point. It's mainly for Hannah. Hannah's fun cars are really slow.
For her.
She was into this.
Right, but whose idea was it? Yours.
Where do all car ideas in my household originate from? The POW was her idea. She started talking about the POW.
This is a cool idea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, so you just do the full E500 front end and then those fender flares, those wheels. That's a totally doable thing.
Yeah. That would be a very cool gentleman's coupe or luxury coupe, rather. Yeah.
You just mold the metal.
Sure.
And you could either do air suspension or, a luxury focused, fixed sort of height suspension.
I think air, because then you could drop it when you park.
And it goes. Yeah. I mean, I think, and I talked to him.
I know.
Talked about it.
I know.
Not that expensive.
Yeah.
But someone's birthday is coming up a big birthday is coming up for somebody in a couple of years. So we could get ahead of it.
And that birthday has a 5 in it, if I recall. And this would have a 5 in it. You're welcome, Matt Farah. You're welcome for that justification. Honey.
And it would take an amount of time that starts with a 5, probably.
Right. And it would cost a 5.
Yeah. Do you see the wagon he's doing?
Have you heard of numerology?
Do you see the wagon he's doing?
There are so many things happening over there. It's hard to keep track. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
The 2-door wagon that he's building.
Oh yes, it looks cool. The proportions are sick.
It's really.
Yeah, it's like a shooting brake.
It's so sick.
There's so much cool shit over there. I don't know what's his and what's a client's. Honestly,
I think he builds them and then sells them. I don't know if he builds them.
That would make sense.
Yeah, but
we're talking about Marina. Was it Marina West Auto Body? I think
CMS Motorsports
or that
is the AMG building arm of that. They also have like a regular body shop for regular stuff. But
there's a lot happening there.
Shant, shout out to him. Guy rules. Dude, but so the POW, we talked about the POW, right? With Mad Mike, right? Or where was the last I told you about the POW?
That it fixed it took him 30 hours to diagnose it. He found the thing, the blinker. They got a new blinker stock.
Right.
They fixed it.
Right. Brought it home. Hannah drove it for a couple days. Yeah. So here's I discovered something. I discovered another thing. That was all real. They didn't replace the battery though. So that battery was already pretty weak.
Okay. Wait, you replaced that battery when you guys got the car, right? It's like a Prius battery?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it had died a bunch of times in between, right?
It's bad for
so it was not holding charge. Okay, fine. So I get another battery. And I realized that these Prius batteries, which are the only batteries that fit in the POW, are AGM batteries, which are more like motorcycle and power sport type batteries, but they're bigger than a motorcycle battery, but smaller than a car battery. And it's for a second-gen Prius. It's so weird. Anyway, not all battery tenders fit this AGM. Will not quote fit because you just clip, but will recognize and connect to this AGM battery.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the C-Tech tender doesn't. The Optima tender does, but I had a C-Tech quick connector on this thing for a long time, and for some reason it just won't connect to it properly, and the Optima does, which is just a weird thing I learned. I don't know why. Okay. So I had to take it off and switch it.
Oh.
So that may have also somehow contributed to premature killing of the battery.
Okay.
Because I've had a C-Tech tender on it for like a year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Weird. Little fucking car.
So yeah, small car, big
problem.
problems.
Small car,
this is like big
silly
trouble,
problem.
Little China.
Yeah, silly problems.
Different.
These batteries are like $280.
Yeah, I don't know. Batteries are expensive.
Mad Mike is more expensive than a battery.
Well, 30 hours. Yeah, of course, 30 hours. Yeah. But I think my new battery for my car was $300 or something like that.
Yeah, they're all those batteries are super expensive now. Like everything else. And wait till the tariffs hit. Yay! Everyone is so fucked.
I'm glad I bought my fucking power steering hoses when I did. Hopefully I don't need more parts for my BMW. Yeah, of course not. Everything else will work fine.
I bet the price of everything just goes. Bloop.
I wonder. I need to order my my tartan fabric. I need to figure out how much yardage I need.
Hurry.
Yeah.
Hurry.
I'm going to talk to TLG.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Johnny Lieberman and Sang Yoon for the cars and coffee they put on at the new Helm's Bakery. It was a delight. I went 100% incognito in a Revology Mustang. It was like being Clark Kent. Nobody noticed.
How'd you like your day in the Revology Mustang?
Those things are so cool. Did I actually put any pictures on Instagram? I didn't. Although I was probably tagged in some. Those cars are rad. This one was an automatic. It's just the one that's here. It's like that gold green GT350 1968. Mm-hmm. It was cool, but like no one expects me to roll up to a Cars and Coffee in that.
Right.
And Johnny looked right past me. Like he was standing there directing traffic and literally looked right past me. It was hilarious. I hope that succeeds because Helm's Bakery was very tasty. The breakfast burrito was good.
Are they going to do it regularly?
I think they wanted to. I mean, I think they just kind of like sent it and like we're like waiting to see like would the neighbors get mad? Would anybody care? And like if not, then yeah, do it again.
Well, did Sang buy Helm's Bakery?
Yeah, I mean,
so it's a way to bring people to it, or it's also just a fun thing.
Well, so hang on. There's two different things. In LA, there's a place called Helm's Bakery. It used to be a giant commercial bakery. We were talking about the fucking
van.
The van. Oh, P.S. The van that we were talking about, the literal one that we pulled up the auction and sold at RM. That one was at the Cars and Coffee.
Holy crap!
Yeah, you know who owns it? Philip.
Oh,
because
yeah,
of course fucking Philip owns it.
He owns all things fun and cool.
Yeah,
truly.
Of course, he fucking whimsically throws up a paddle for this thing. This is our friend Philip, who is the owner of Myers Manx, basically CEO of Myers Manx, and has all these like amazing, silly, fucking weird cars that of like you're 38 to 45. They were like early video game level cars. Like pre-Gran Turismo video, like rad racer shit. But also apparently a Helm's Bakery truck. So we probably could drive it if we wanted to.
Sure.
Ali said
I'd have to sit on the dashboard while you drive.
I got a fucking text from our friend Ali Javidan who said he rolled around Carmel with Philip in this thing.
That's the perfect vehicle. That's adorable. I had dinner with him in Austin. He was there.
Oh, with Ali?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he knows Dave now, and they're
good times.
Driving thing.
But anyway, that Helm's Cars and Coffee was good. So follow along on, I guess, Johnny's Instagram to see if they do more of them. That'll be fun.
Cool. Very.
And Pat Long, who I spoke to yesterday and will be here for the 1000th episode, would like me to remind everybody to please get your tickets early for Air Water. Mm-hmm. It's going to be busy.
I'm sure.
And actually, I was talking to him because they have a mid-engine feature, and they're going to put the pink car on some type of a stand.
Cool.
I had a little thing made, a little display license plate made that's like, what am I? And has a little fact sheet, but I think it's in like a little... It's kind of boomerish to do a fact sheet about your car, but it's literally like an actual license plate that I'm going to screw onto the car.
Oh, cool.
So it's not like a fucking...
Like, look, that's pretty...
Yeah, if someone looks at the back, it says like the stuff about the engine and whatever, you know.
That's good because people go, why is this here?
Yeah, someone will see it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to like put something on the windshield that like fucks up people's photos.
Right, true.
You know?
Yeah, and you don't want to have the weird little kid doll next to a stand. Speaking of license plates, I got a phone message yesterday from AAA that my custom plates came in like 7 months earlier than estimated, which is sick.
You got custom plates?
I got custom plates because I got black with yellow.
Oh, okay.
And they say unreliable.
Oh, really?
And how amazing that call would come in when my car is on jack stands.
How is it unreliable spelled?
I went with UNRYLYBL.
Wait, no.
No, that's too many.
No, hang on.
Let me look.
UNR. Uh-oh.
It's fine.
Oh. UNR. Y? Unri? Unri?
Yeah.
Unri. Oh, do you have a... Oh,
I have a
boy.
picture somewhere.
You do. I can't... Unreliable?
Unreliable.
Unri.
Unri.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
there we go.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay,
makes
yeah.
more sense.
UNRLYBL.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like an app for mechanics.
Oh. It was this, or I had one other one that had a 3 in there, which would have been good for the M3 thing.
No, this is good.
6 to 1, half dozen the other.
No, it's good. But when you spelled it before, you added a Y.
Oh, yeah. I was all over the place.
Yeah, and I was like, that doesn't make it. That's not right. Yeah, okay. This is UNRLYBL. That's, yeah.
It's very phonetic, I think.
Well, it also could be it almost looks like you are not liable. If the R and the N, it could be you are not liable, right? If they were switched.
Yeah, then I'd be a lawyer who's trying to help people get out of things.
Yeah.
Like, you're not liable.
No,
sure.
It's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that's good.
Perfect timing. But I'm glad because, you order these, they go, all right, 9 months. And I went, what? What time?
I had one, I forget which one it was. I think either the Mustang one or one of the ones I ordered took forever. The Bentley one showed up in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Which was pretty awesome.
Nice.
The Bentley was spotted in Seattle. It went to Seattle, and 2 different fans sent me pictures of it in Seattle.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm glad it's still kicking around.
Yeah. I'm glad the homie is driving it. Man, should we go to the people? Oh, yeah. Before we go to the people, dude, we were staying at the Fontainebleau in Vegas, and PizzaCon was going on in Vegas. It's a thing. And so the whole hotel is filled with pizza industry people. So shout out to Lorenzo from Joe's Pizza in New Canaan. Big fucking looks like the big Goomba version of me. He said, I talked to the guy for 30 minutes at the bar. This motherfucker said the schkarol about 65 times. He was awesome.
What does that even mean?
He's money.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. That guy's doing well. He's got a good amount of schkarol, you know. He was great. But I learned a lot about pizza. Someone acquired a dough balling machine that's going to do 400 pounds of dough. But I was thinking that when press launches go to Vegas, something that they should absolutely do is look at what type of industry convention is in Vegas.
Yeah.
Throw some money at sponsoring said convention and get passes for the journalists to be like, hey, while you're here, you want to go to the fucking corduroy convention? Like, who wouldn't check that out for a couple hours, you know?
Sure.
Not corduroy, but...
Well, that one I do 30 minutes. But pizza convention, I could spend 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had demos. There was all this, commercial home stuff. Yeah.
I want to go to that. I'm going to tell Sarah that exists, and she's going to want to go.
If anyone out there is a fan who owns a pizza adjacent company, and wants to make Zack and I employees for next year,
yes,
I'll trade you. I'll tell you what. If you get me and Zack into PizzaCon, I'll trade you for a pass to SEMA.
Sure. Yeah.
Straight up.
Pizza is the perfect food.
Let's fucking go. And I really want to go to the concrete thing with Scotto.
Oh, the concrete
convention.
Right.
Yeah. We should really look up can we get the Las Vegas Convention Center full list of conventions for 2025? There's got to be some fucking random shit that they have a convention for that we could fucking scam our way into. Right? Like, what is the weirdest convention that happens in
Avian Awards?
That's not weird.
Well, depends on which side of the...
what's the most awesome convention?
I'm with you. It depends on
holy shit, the Q Sports International Expo.
Here, okay.
Okay, here we go. March 2020. Q Sports, that's pool, right? Billiards, Natso Connect, college basketball. Okay, what is
USA
UC... Catchball
tournament.
What the fuck is catchball?
I don't know.
The healthcare information, the job fair, nothing interesting yet. Dice Tower.
Safety professionals. That seems...
Society of Safety Professionals, yeah. Okay.
You know what? That would either be... That might be the dullest on the floor, but after hours, they go ham to a degree that's almost alarming because they're like, my whole life is just no risk.
Yeah.
Let's get choked. They're just like
my
doing
whole
rails.
life in risk management.
Exactly.
Who's got a belt and a closet? All right. Nothing is radiation oncology. Oh, boy. Whoa, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series.
Whoa.
Wedding
Hard
and
game.
Portrait Photographers Conference, EV Charging Summit.
Adobe Summit can learn about editing software.
Yeah.
EV Charging Summit, that might be a thing.
Oh, this was just this month. We're actually looking at we're looking at last week.
That
right
was
now,
just this month. Good Lord.
Yeah, Bar Expo, CinemaCon, Travel Goods Trade Show. Oh,
this would probably be interesting. International
Security Conference. Yeah, it's probably shady as hell.
Yeah.
Let's pick another month. Let's pick September. September maybe is a good time to go to Las Vegas. Sorry, I'm gonna extend this bit by a few more minutes, and you guys can just deal with that because we're learning today. September, the Pack Expo. What is that? Can you click on that?
Is it just backpacks?
PAC. What is the PACK? The Pack Expo. Don't even know what it is.
No description is available.
No description. Pack it out.
Here,
event website. Here we go.
Packaging and processing.
Oh, dude, this is the one. Packaging and processing. This is a whole fucking show of logistics equipment. No? You're not about this? You don't want to see like how factory equipment works and how they like automate like packaging and processing?
I don't, because the picture here is a robot. So this is basically going to show us here's how jobs get taken away from human beings. So they're just be selling new robots. Look at this. The robot's moving a donut around. It would be interesting. Process is interesting. But of the whole 400 events they have here in a year, I'll let you go to this one. I'll go to corduroy.
But what about concrete? Does concrete interest you or not really?
I need to hear Scotto's pitch.
Okay.
Because he's so enthusiastic. I need to know, why does he want to go to concrete? He has an update on his Patreon, that says, what is the Scotto Farm Nightmare. So I'm like, that might be interesting.
He'll have things to talk about on Sunday.
Yeah. Yep. There's no events in August.
That's going to be fun. Degrees. By the way, the 1,000th episode is Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific to 6 p.m. Pacific, 8-hour live show. It's going to be a lot, let's just say. Oh, and shout out, thank you, Hunter A., who I'm pretty sure is a patron, right? That's a name I've read a lot for questions. Hunter A. sent that Jack Daniels Sinatra edition for us for the 1,000. Shout out to Hunter A. And then someone sent us this giant bouquet of cookies and donuts, but there was no card or anything in it. And so I don't know. Whoever sent the Delicious Orchards, this awesome-looking literal bag of donuts, I am 100% about it. It looks fucking delicious, and thank you. And maybe... maybe there's a card inside there.
Do you want to crack it today, or do you want to wait and save it for Sunday?
Well,
will they keep till Sunday? I guess so.
I think they will. I don't know. I'm sorry there's no card, but
I think
whoever
there's
you
coffee
are,
in there too.
Whoever you are, thank you for sending those. That's very kind. No one needed to send anything, but we certainly appreciate it.
Someone says Doug sent it, I bet. That would be a Dougie thing.
He's not coming, unfortunately.
He would send a basket of apples. Where do they grow in Nantucket?
In Nantucket?
Yeah.
Where they grow?
What is their staple food?
There are a couple farms. I don't think they export anything.
But it feels like a place where they would import something and then present it as this is the Nantucket treat.
Salmon pants?
Delicious.
Well, I mean, Nantucket's its history and its heritage is whaling. Nantucket was the whaling industry and whale oil capital of the universe for a long time. They should sell whale
oil. What are they doing?
The Essex, Moby Dick. You ever see that? Yeah. In the Heart of the Sea is the movie. Yeah, that's out of Nantucket.
Oh, okay.
I swear to God, the Nantucket Whaling Museum is the most delightfully interesting museum you'll ever go to, even though in hindsight, whaling was pretty gross. It was just...
That's fine. We didn't know.
Yeah. The museum is amazing. The people are here, and we love them, over at patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. Get in on the action. Ask questions for the show. Catch the show live. Catch it before anybody else as we upload it the same day we record, and we don't wait till Tuesday, Thursday. Get an ad-free listening experience on both YouTube and the other platforms, and an extra show every month. Let's do it. Koji says, how do you feel about old luxury SUVs being turned into overlanders instead of sticking with something tried and true like a Jeep or a Landcruiser? Early first-gen German SUVs, those companies at that time thought their customers were going to go off-road. Yeah. So first-gen versions of these cars had more robust stuff than the later versions of the cars.
The early Cayennes had legit mechanical locking differentials, right? Instead of now they're mostly braking systems, torque vectoring.
Yeah, and they're still really good off-road.
They are.
But the first-gen ones are kind of what the old school people are looking for, and they're a lot cheaper, obviously. I think it's cool to see them out there, dude. I'm down for folks doing... I've seen a million Landcruisers and I've seen a million Jeeps. So if I'm out on a trail, which is admittedly not that often, and I see a dude fucking getting her done in an X5 4.8, I'm like, let's fucking go. Right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, yeah, Cayennes are great too.
Yes.
Joey Bag of Donuts. How would you guys differentiate a midlife crisis sports car purchase versus someone who has grown in their career and is now able to afford a nicer sports car?
That is a tough question. I think there's an impulsivity to midlife crisis.
Yeah.
If it's not thought out, if someone chooses a bad car,
yeah,
that usually is not something they grew up wanting for a long time. They researched, they dreamt about, they thought about, and they went, finally I can get the good one. They just go, oh shit, man, I'm having a bad day. Maserati convertible.
Yeah, like a crisis is like kind of like out of nowhere, urgent. You know, I something's got to change to now. You know,
stretching the budget.
Yeah, versus like someone who had a sports car when they were younger, had a kid, had to sell it, you know, has been talking about buying it, has been for a time, you know, letting people know around them that a sports car purchase is coming. Mm-hmm. And then also it's sort of like, I mean, I think that term is like a dated term.
Yeah,
you know.
A bit.
But it does, I think there are certain types of cars that imply midlife crisis more than others.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think it was a term that was used for just like making fun of usually men, but you know, they hit a certain age and they go buy something that is seen as fiscally irresponsible or impractical vehicle. And it's like, oh, there they go in their 40s. And you're like, all right, sure, maybe there's an element of like I'm going to die. What am I working for to just buy practical things? I want to have some fun with all of the work I've done. But I don't think that's invalid. I think we should reward ourselves in some way, and just it's like work-life balance. But that was just the old way to do it.
Yeah, I've heard the term midlife crisis sports car a million times. I don't love it, and the people that we know who buy cars are not having a crisis. They're enthusiasts of cars.
That's right. I like the GT350. I was not having a crisis.
Yeah, Stollerberg. These are left over from last one.
They are.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Let's see. Aiden Squire says, should we do... Oh, a couple of people have asked us to do if we would do another Nodus collab, but with a Seiko movement or other things that could bring the costs down from the 1,200 where the Canyon has been at to something more like 500 or 600. I'm definitely not opposed to that idea. I don't want to make the same watch with a cheaper movement just to save money. If I do think we're doing this green dial, which is going to be coming up in April, and then we have one more special dial, and then, in my opinion, we're going to retire the model and move on to something else. And that next thing that we do will look different than the Canyon, but I've heard that people are interested in a more affordable watch, and we could certainly do that. Yeah, no problem. Can do. Sloppy Toppy 5000 says Model 3s are now under $15K used. At what point will these replace Kia Souls and Nissan Altimas as the official car of people with bad credit and nothing to lose? We're getting there. Yeah, we are getting there. Yeah, I mean, there's a million Model 3s running around out there, and they're starting. You know, the thing about Teslas is because they never change their styling of the cars very much. It's sort of tough to tell what year a Tesla is unless you are sort of a connoisseur.
Yeah.
But a lot of the early Model 3s are starting to look kind of ratty. You know, they're like missing fucking wheel center caps and shit. And so, especially like over in this area.
It's falling apart.
Yeah.
What's funny is I think there's a lot of drivers that operate their vehicles the same way in Altimas and in Model 3s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just like going for it, blowing that red, hope everybody stops.
Yeah. Beneteau driver, watch question. What are your thoughts on putting leather straps on divers? Highly controversial.
Sure.
Highly.
Leather's not great underwater, right?
No, it's not. But I am pro doing this. I have no problem doing this at all. It's your watch. So many people buy divers because of how they look, and they have no plans in going in the water.
True.
And that is totally fine. My old Rolex, my old, it's not that old, but like oldest from like 05, is in, quote, retirement.
What does that mean?
Well, it's out of everyday wear. It's now in the special pile. It has an amazing amount of patina, and I would like to freeze it in that amount of patina forever.
Oh, you don't want it to patina more.
I mean,
which is basically getting sunbaked, right?
I'm not. Yes. I'm not like specifically against it, but I now have other things for every day, and so that watch has a leather band on it, so that I wear it in a little more formal, dressy setting, and I'm not just like knocking about in it all day. But like, if you're down to like change straps a lot, yeah, fucking throw a leather on there.
That's the other thing. Changing a watch strap takes 3 minutes. It's so easy. So
it's not hard. Yeah, but like leather does get gross. So if you're gonna wear the watch every day, that leather's gonna get nasty. You
ever seen a cow swim? I didn't think so.
Yeah, I only put leather on watches that I'm not gonna wear every day. Let's see. Oh, God. Oh, that's actually funny. Sorry. Okay, Stolberg. During TST 620 with Spike, I named the color scheme for the Taycan. I said, first fucking person to go full Outback, like from the first Outback 1995, with that branding on their Taycan Cross Turismo is the winner. That's the thing, just got to go full Paul Hogan. Hello, mate. Sport utility wagon.
So I guess you should have gotten a yellow Taycan.
Well, you could do it in white. I mean, let's get a photo of the 95 Subaru Outback, and let's see maybe we can get one in white. There we go. That's the that's literally the photo. That's the exact photo from the brochure that I remember. I don't know what it was about this car, dude. So when my mom had the Mercury Villager Nautica, it went in for service, and we were and we got one of these first gen as a service loaner in 95. And when my mom brought this thing home, I went ape shit over this thing.
Really?
I do not understand what it was about it, the commercials or whatever.
You know what I loved back then? I remember this too, the hood scoop.
Oh,
I was like, whoa,
fabulous.
Cool, because it's a normal car, but it's got a hood scoop.
Okay, but if we wanted to go full Outback, it is a two-tone.
Yes.
So we'd have to do a lower half kind of wrap.
Wouldn't do that.
I don't think it would work.
No.
Yeah. But I do think my idea from episode 620 was funny.
Yeah.
And if someone sent me a photo, shout out to this guy. A guy has the same Taycan as me. Okay, it's a white Cross Turismo, and he got the same HRE wheels.
No
as
shit.
Me, okay, slightly different color, same the HRE 522s. He got a lighter gold, and mine is a very dark bronze. But I got the 21s, the size of the turbo. It's an OEM Porsche size, but for the turbo. He got 18s with some meat on the bones. A
lot of sidewall.
He got some meaty sidewall.
Wow.
And it looks like a Dakar. And it looks amazing. And I was like seconds from fucking calling HRE and be like, abort.
Shrink the wheel.
Resize.
Put it in the dryer.
But I was like, yo, fucking hit me back in like a month and let me know like what your range is, because I bet it's not good.
Yeah, I bet it's a lot worse. Sure.
I bet it's a lot worse. And I can't whack 50 miles out of the battery in this car. I just can't do it. But it looked sick.
That's a lot more size. Because the total circumference has to be the same, right?
Yeah.
So he's got 18s.
Yeah, it's a bunch of sidewall.
So yeah, it's a lot.
It looked
cool.
awesome.
Show me that picture later.
I probably have to dig it out of my fucking Instagram DMs,
right.
but I don't know where it's from, but I'm sure we can find it. Doug Levy. Wait. Okay, you talk so much about amazing car experiences. What's the one where you got done and said, I'm never doing that again?
You know, the little story yesterday.
There's definitely... No, I mean, there's definitely been some people's like personal cars that turned out to be real sketchy. There's some of those cars I drove at like Grid Life. There were these people like homebrew, like psycho things that was like, that's pretty shady. I mean, I've talked about it before, but I traveled 30 hours each way for 6 laps of a racetrack in the wet in a rear wheel drive supercar with our compound tires on it. And so that was the worst unpaid travel experience for the least amount of seat time in which I learned almost nothing.
Yeah, the shine on that stuff wears off.
Yeah.
I could see, us slipping individually to I don't know if I want to do that. How much driving is there? Do I need this video?
Yeah.
And sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. And probably something like that.
Siamese sports cat enthusiast, what cars would you prefer the modern version over the classic? Thinking of Zach's recent mention of how much better the new S3 is over the B5 S4. Yep. Doug has talked about the virtues of the M2 over the 1M. Yeah, okay, so the modern versus the classic.
The new Golf R, I think, is much better than the original R32. And I love the VR6, and I love the way it sounds, but it feels really front-wheel drive biased. It feels really heavy. Turn-in, fine. I mean, it was it's an early all-wheel drive thing from Volkswagen. And now the Golf R has drift mode, which granted is a little bit of trickery, but it feels very neutral.
Yeah.
So I think from the steering wheel, if you ignore all the capacitive haptic buttons, I think it's a much more fun thing to drive. And the transmission, I mean, granted the first R32 is manual, but the new DSG or dual clutch is way better than the early ones. I
mean, I agree with you 100%. All Volkswagen Audi products, basically. I mean, the early ones, they look great. You remember them as being great. They're cool cruisers. I'd rather in a collection, I'd rather have a B5 RS4 than anything Audi is selling today.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about I want to fucking hit the canyon or I just want to use it as a car, then a new S3 or RS3 is way better than an old RS4.
I also think Camaros, first gen I love to death, and then in between, sure they had their cool times. But going to the latest one, which became a really great sports car, comfy GT car, still had a good engine, I would much rather have a newer Camaro than an F-body or than an IROC.
Yeah. Ted Theo Logan, Indy car is at Thermal this weekend, which is hysterical. And they're saying the track surface is a cheese grater. Is that true? And are European tracks just better kept? I haven't driven Thermal in probably 2 years. I think what an IndyCar driver says about their experience versus what a club-level driver would say about a track surface are probably not the same thing. Mm-hmm. Thermal was certainly, you would think go to fucking Willow Springs as it was. Willow Springs is
really
rough.
Yeah.
Tear your shit up rough. Mm-hmm. Thermal must be better than that. I
drove it last year, and it was definitely better than Willow.
Yeah.
Because, when they lay that asphalt, as the black little stuff gets worn away, the rocks are exposed, and then it gets a lot rougher. So Thermal felt much, much better and very smooth. But I think
Thermal's probably been 10 years. It might need resurfacing soon.
Maybe.
It may be there, but the way an IndyCar driver is going to feel a track surface and the way a club racer is going to feel a track surface, I just don't think are the same thing.
Sure.
I've heard over and over that the IndyCar drivers hate going to Thermal. It's too small for an IndyCar.
That is too small.
That's a Cayman fucking track.
Yeah.
Same with Concourse Club, and I love Concourse Club for what it is, but those you can't drive a truly fast car on those tracks.
And Thermal also doesn't really have. It has one kind of big sweeper turn, but it won't feel fast in an Indy car. I'm not sure if they even get into downforce there.
Wait till I just set it up on April 22nd. You and I are going to go out to Willow, and we're going to sit down with Sam.
Cool.
Of Cross Harbor Capital, and Maz of Singer, and we have an exclusive, and they're going to tell our audience everything that's going to be happening at Willow Springs.
Cool. Is Maz an investor or
Singer?
Okay.
Is involved in the track.
Got it. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Carlo says, I have an Audi A3 as a daily and a 991.1 GTS as a weekend car. Looking to add a manual open-top experience to my garage. Narrowed it down to a late NA1 Acura NSX or a Ferrari 355 Spyder. Budget of $100K. Okay. You're basically talking about given that you already have two other cars, a 355 is a better third car than an NSX.
Yeah.
Having said that, the Spyder top mechanisms are scary stuff. If that goes down, you have a problem.
What if you went T-top? Can you get 355
The
T-top?
GTSs are a lot more. The Spyders are the cheapest by like $30,000 for this reason.
Yeah.
For this reason. And I totally get it. And the Spyder with the top down looks great. I get it. But that mechanism, yikes.
$100,000 might not be enough
$100,000
to maintain it. Because I agree. Like, to me, the NSX and the GTS are too close because they're both the practical, smart, kind of reliable decision. And I think you need something with some serious noise, and the NSX won't provide that. They sound pretty good, but 355
NSX is too normal if you already have a 911. You need something stupider than that.
Yes.
Here's my wild card for you. Skip the 355. What you want is a 1994 348 Spyder.
That's a good one, right?
That is, they're overlooked compared to the 355, but they have all the updates the 355 got, and they have the cheaper running costs of the 4-valve head instead of the 5-valve head. The 5-valve head makes that thing, and a bunch of other magnesium and titanium and F1 shit, make that thing super expensive to run. The 348's a lot cheaper.
That's true.
And it's like, actually, I think the steering's better because it has manual steering, and the 355 has the 90s power steering.
You get at least 90% of the driving experience of the 355. You don't get the walking up to it and looking at it experience because the 355, I think, is prettier. 348 is not bad.
It's prettier, but it's incrementally prettier.
That's true.
Yeah.
But from the driver's seat, it will feel every bit like a top-down Ferrari.
But your 100K goes a lot further in 348 than it does in 355.
Very true.
Yeah. And you might even, and the 348, I'm pretty sure, I think it might have a manual top, which would be a big difference.
It did. We put it down because we drove it in the winter.
I don't remember
ice.
I don't remember if it had I think it might have had a manual top.
Probably in 90. Let me look.
I'm so over cars says, let's say you had to sell everything. If you had a major expense, what would you buy as your first start over car when you're making $75,000 a year? Well, for $75,000 a year, I would hope that everything else was in order. But might be something like an E30 or a Foxbody or something like that, or a Miata. You know, your entry level, right? Entry level sports car. I'd go back to the beginning.
Yeah, because also $75K a year is not enough to get crazy.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
No matter where you live in the country, you got to still be careful.
Yeah.
348 top is manual. It's there's two methods. You release a latch.
Yeah.
And then you pull a lever down by the e-brake, and that brings it the rest of the way down.
Yeah, but like that, dude, that's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
You do not want, I mean, any of those, the 355, the 360, or the 430, I hold my breath every time I operate one of those.
I wonder if automatic tops have gotten more resilient with the proliferation of electric actuators, because I know with the hydraulic systems, my friend, he was a Volkswagen tech, and to completely rebuild an EOS top was $12,000.
Yeah. Well, retractable hard tops are, when they have to hold all that weight and it's hydraulic, I think the newer soft tops are like really good. Yeah. And there's cars where I don't hear that much, I don't hear like a lot of problems about Boxsters. Things like that. But like 90s Ferraris and Mercedes SLs of that, those are like cable operated. It's like levers and pulleys and shit. And it's like, you got to exercise it, but be careful when you're exercising, But so, yeah. Greg Scott, it's funny, someone else was just talking to me about this. If you were given the opportunity to work with a manufacturer on a special edition of a sports car, you have final approval for any aspect of design or performance changes. What brand, model, and what changes are you bringing to the table?
Do we have to adhere to modern pedestrian crash standards, hood heights, etc.?
I don't know. Why, are we lowering cars?
if I could, I would make them smaller.
Oh, you'd make the car smaller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would shrink the cars if I could.
I would do a Spyder, a Porsche Spyder RS Touring. I would bring it back around where it would basically be a Spyder RS, but with a manual, comfort seats, and the whole car would be painted one color, no naked carbon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I would basically ST the Spyder RS. I think people could envision what that might look like.
I would redo or adjust, I want to say this delicately, the new Aston Vantage, because I still don't like the back end that carried over from the previous generation with the huge black plastic that goes around and looks like angry eyebrows. Yeah. I would get that redone more like the older Vantage and maybe shrink the front, because the interior is really nice. I don't need to mess with that. Yeah. But I think I would change that and just make it simpler, smoother, less busy.
Cool. I'd like to do a Bentley too. I'd like to do a flying spur. Not a flying spur. I'd like to do a GT Speed with rear seat delete. Not change the front seats, but do a cool carbon back on the front seat, but rear seat delete, just partial shelf, maybe with a fitted hand luggage that could go in there, and just a fucking epic color scheme, and a really cool stone material for the dash. They're doing those stone dashes. I'd love to do like a tiger's eye or some fucking crazy ass stone inlay on the
Having
dash.
luggage that locked in somehow would be cool, or like a leather strap would also be
like
classy.
click in.
Yeah. Click in like a ski boot.
Like step in snowboard boots.
Right.
That would be fucking sick. That's you know what we need that for? The Manx.
Oh.
Click. If you could click it down so you wouldn't have any straps underneath. We need to call Philip. He needs to buy a snowboard binding company. Yeah. Philip, I have an idea.
The mechanism,
Quick, buy ride snowboards. Let's go. Oh boy, Ferrari Jizz hat enthusiast.
Great name.
Yeah,
we've had some good ones.
We showed the Jizz shorts
we
too, right?
Yeah,
the hat and the shorts.
Yeah,
the shorts.
We showed all of it.
The hat is bad. The shorts are much worse.
The shorts look like you did it to yourself. The hat looks like someone did it to you. Then look,
is it up to me? It's up to me to decide which of those two things is worse.
It's totally subjective. It's a weird looking design.
Here's an interesting question. Is there a foreign car that is good enough that it would still be worth buying with a 25% tariff? Conversely, is there a car that's not worth its MSRP that should be 25% cheaper? I think it's good enough. I think it's important to say that a lot of American cars are built in other fucking countries too, and vice versa.
Very true.
You know, and there's also like there's parts coming in from all over the world to build cars that are quote American.
That's the big thing. Headlights, tablets. Yeah. So many of these little electronics we know are not made here. Yeah. We know they're not. So there's so many of the components, the electronic components for other cars.
Even if the car, like I know the Tesla Model Y is the most American car, right? But even that, there's a bunch of shit from China and other places in that car. But like, here's the thing: like, other countries do have crazy import duties on cars, and people do find a way if they want the car. You know, they certainly sell fewer of them for sure, because you know people go. I meet like Australians, you know, and they're like, "Here's my Ferrari whatever," and they tell me the price. And I'm like, "Holy fuck!" It's like 50%, 60%, 100% more expensive than here.
Cars,
yeah. But some people do still buy them. I mean, there's a lot of people for whom the difference isn't significant. If everybody in the country has to pay this price, it's the same relative to you, and it's not. Like all these incredibly stupid fucking policies, they're going to affect the people with the least.
Oh, of course, because talking about supercar taxes isn't really a relevant thing. But when I think of like Ford Transits that you see driving around Germany, competing with Mercedes, and I read that Germany has an import tax on American cars, but a lot of Fords are also built in England and other places in Europe. So I don't know if that affects it or if it's only cars that come from mainland United States that get taxed like that. But it's going to affect so many things.
I'm going to say it's going to affect Volkswagen's sales and the Audi A3 and the Mercedes CLA and those type of cars way more than it's going to affect sales of the Ferrari 296.
Oh, sure.
Or, Rivuelto.
Yeah.
Right?
No one's going to go, well, there's a tariff on the 296, so I guess I will go buy a C8 Corvette instead because U.S. doesn't have a competitor at that price.
I haven't studied the parts content of cars. There's probably someone who does that. I don't spend my time doing that, nor fucking should I. But I don't know what manufacturer is going to escape these tariffs. Like, I think these are going to be industry-wide because, like, everyone's using parts from everywhere.
Sure.
And if fucking 8 out of 10 car companies have to raise their prices from tariffs and the other 2 don't, like, they're not going to raise their fucking prices too?
Right.
I mean, this shit just happened. It just fucking happened. That's why the price of groceries is still high as fuck.
Well, some of it was justified on inflation, and then
it was inflation, and then they fucking went past inflation, and they were like, I don't know, it's inflation, and you're like, but inflation's down, and they're like, "What? It's inflation." You're like, "No, you're it's up." And then when they fucking level that out a bit, oh well, now it's 6 ounces in this bag, not 8.
Shrinkflation, very real thing. Mm-hmm. You're getting less for the same amount of money. Mm-hmm. It's wild to look at that, or look at the profits of the companies. Like, it's inflation. You're like, well, then if your costs went up, should your profits have stayed the same? Because they also went up to record highs.
If anybody out there has been tasked with doing shrinkflation on behalf of their employer, I would love to hear from you anonymously and what you were made to do. Did you have to reduce the amount of liquid in the bottle by a little bit, or like what was it? Let me know. I just. You don't even have to tell me the company, but like I'm so curious as ways that people have been asked to do this shit.
There's even more air in the chips bag than there was before.
Shaquille Oatmeal, that's pretty fucking funny. Just got a Ranger Raptor and love it. Looking for a first sports car to complement it. Live in upstate South Carolina. I live in North South Carolina. It's different from South North Carolina. Them Northerners don't know shit. Us Northern Southerners, we know more than them Southern Northerners.
Wasn't there like a battle line between the two of them?
No, they were both on the same side.
They were? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
The Mason-Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
Mason-Dixon, I believe, goes right. Well, don't. It's been a while since I looked at that map. Let's just make sure I get that right. Where did it go? Anyway,
it was way farther north.
It was, right? Virginia.
Maryland was
Maryland.
South of it,
yeah, okay, cool, yeah. I'm glad I got that right. Okay, sports car for $50K to complement a Ranger Raptor.
Used Cayman.
Yeah, I mean,
Boxster.
Yeah,
used M2. Used M2. Be really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a first sports car, so you don't want anything with insane horsepower.
Right.
Boxster Cayman is great. You're going to learn a lot about driving from one of those.
Forgiving, mid-engine's forgiving, can't loop it very easily.
I also think you'd learn a lot about driving from an M2. It has predictable characteristics.
For sure.
It'll do what you tell it to.
Yeah, it's just got way more power, especially if you start tuning it so it's a little spicy.
If you like the Ford family, $50K gets you a bunch of Shelby.
Mach 1.
Gets you a bunch of Mach 1 or Shelby.
Yeah.
Have fun with that. Murray says, driving from Seattle to San Diego, I have a $3,000... Wait. Is this a real thing? I have a $3,000 budget to buy a car in Seattle and get it to San Diego in a week. What would be fun choices? I keep finding red Subaru Outbacks.
I feel like those two sentences are at odds with each other.
I have to do a very boring and long drive that's incredibly tedious, but I want something fun.
And your first thought is Subaru Outback.
No, I said I keep finding red Subaru Outbacks like within the budget.
Yeah. I mean, $3,000 is not a lot of money.
It's not.
I think you have to have whimsy fun, not sporting fun. Unless you go a fucked up Miata.
Yeah, but like
do that.
fucking 1,200 highway miles on a Miata. It's like so shitty.
Very real.
Yeah, it sucks. Honestly, I don't anything with cruise control at that point. Like, but yeah, dude. I mean, Zack said it right. Whimsy fun, not sporting fun. You're talking about a long, boring highway drive.
Like, not to bring it up all the time, it's top of mind because I saw one, but it's like Crown Vic because it's a joke.
Yeah.
$3,000 is buying you a joke. So what joke do you want to make? You could pretend to be a cop. You could buy an old Volkswagen that might break down. Like you could buy a Beetle that runs like shit and have that adventure. But you're not going to find anything sporting that you're going to want to drive that far.
Yeah. And
it's tough.
Honestly, at that price point, it's like you start with that price point and it's what's available here. It's not like I can't suggest, you should get a Civic for $3,000. Like, how do I know that there is one for that price? It's not a complete fucking piece of shit. Like,
yeah, LS400. If you could find one for $3,000.
For $3,000, that's going to be.
You found one for $1,900.
That's a very good point. And it did make it home.
It did make it.
Yeah,
that would be comfy, and just keep pouring power steering fluid in it. That could be good.
Yeah, Lexuses, all Lexuses. Josh J, as a professional cat dad, tips and favorite toys for playing with adult cats. I use it's called Da Bird, the cat. It's the wand toys. Just all about active play. As much active play as you can possibly do. Wand toys, it's a thing on a string.
It's like a fishing pole.
Yeah, and that is the main, the cat's natural cycle. Hunt, catch, kill, eat, groom, sleep, right? The hunt, catch, and kill portion of that's your job. And eat, because you have to feed them. And then if you do that, you start with the wand toy by playing with them. If maybe they like a mouse, maybe they like one that looks like a butterfly or fucking feathers or whatever. My cats like both. They wreck a toy every day, so I go through a lot of these things.
When you're out of town, I like to give them live mice. Takes care of itself.
Just fucking dump the box in the house.
It gets the catch thing, the kill thing, the fetch thing, I can just look at my phone.
Yeah, but once you play with them for a while, and then when they get really tired, you feed them, and then they will groom themselves, and then they'll sleep for 6 hours. And you can do that 3 times a day, if you can. If not, you definitely want to do it twice a day. Once after you eat breakfast, and once before you go to bed, for sure. 2001 Subaru Forester says, what's a new car you guys were excited to drive, but it ended up being disappointing?
Subaru S209. And I don't want to offend my new best friend, Jerry Seinfeld, so I know you're listening. But I drove that at TV production, and I'm a Subi fan. I know you've heard this before, Matt, but it had the same power as the old cars. Yes, it handled better, but to have come so far, and the thing was, it was like $65,000 new in 2019 money.
Yeah.
It was a lot for what felt like an 04 STI with some suspension on it.
Yeah. Let's see. A new car I was excited to drive that ended up being disappointing. I mean, the new C63 Mercedes, I suppose was I excited to drive it?
I think no. we came in with negative thoughts about that. I
think, let's see. I excited to drive, but ended up being disappointing.
The early GT500.
Oh,
was exciting,
the 12.
But it did a lot of things poorly.
Yeah, the 2012 GT500 with the big power was bad. Yeah, that was bad. Vipers, most Vipers.
They feel the steering's so heavy. They feel heavy.
Clunky as shit, man.
They carry speed, but you look down and you go, I'm going that fast? Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty much all Vipers. Yeah. The Cobra R, the Mustang Cobra R that Ferretti had, which was such a piece of shit. I can't believe that Ford sold that car like that. That's one I wanted to love so bad.
Wasn't the nose flexing and touching the ground?
It was a fucking junk, man. That thing sucked. That's pre-Jamal. Shout out to Jamal. That was a pre-Jamal project. Christian says, have you ever canceled an Uber because of the type of car? No, but I recently got a fucking quote extra legroom, like a premium, and it was a Kia Niro. And I was like, what the fuck? This is an economy car.
That just means the seats push forward.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was bullshit.
I've heard Scott Galloway say that he cancels Ubers when it's a Tesla now, like as a form of protest. But
I think you're protesting against.
I've
Does he message the driver and say, "I'm canceling this because you're driving a Tesla"? Otherwise, the driver is not going to understand this.
And also, it's like, I don't know, the driver might have had the car for 3 years and it's not.
Yeah,
really
or he might be fucking
fault.
renting it for the week.
Also, a very good point.
You know. Toddler on a Hayabusa. Thoughts on 90s T-Birds? Cheap manual, foxbody-based. I hate the roundy ones. I think you know which one I like? The Lincoln Mark 7 and the Lincoln Mark 8. Those are my luxury Mustangs. Oh, that's hilarious. Whatever you just found.
I wrote T-Brids.
Oh, they thought it was braids. 90s braids. Yeah, I don't really like the round body ones, though. I actually am getting kind of into the 2002 retro future ones, which I think someone could do a cool project
like
car
this?
out of. No, the convertible one I'm into now. Like if you did a hot rod of that, it could be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it would take work, but you could make that cool.
For sure, it's a cool. You know what? This reminds me of not the POW, the other
the Figaro.
Figaro.
Yeah,
it's like a bigger Figaro.
Yeah, basically.
And I like the Figaro.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not into the round birds, though. They remind me of those awful Monte Carlos. And
yeah, this looks like rental car spec.
Yeah. That's a Fox body underneath that, though.
I mean, you know, you could turn one into a drift car, I guess.
Yeah, you
It
could.
wouldn't be bad, but I'd rather just get a Fox body, I think.
Yeah. Fucking, if you have one of those, you go through some Marb Reds like there's fucking no tomorrow.
Before we bought the Corolla on All Cars 1, I was DMing with someone that had the T-Bird from before this. The really ugly 80s. It almost looked like a LeBaron, but it had a 5-liter. That was a junky car.
I liked the Lincoln version of that. Lincoln Mark 7, yeah. I had a friend who died in one of those T-Birds back in the day.
Yeesh.
Not wearing a seatbelt. Fucking ejected like 100 feet on the FDR drive.
Dude, wear your seatbelt, people.
Yeah. Charles Rain is not insane. That's a fucking drop, dude. You know what that's from?
It's Charles Rain.
Passenger 57. That's the bad guy in Passenger 57. Since you drive for a living, how do you drive your personal cars? At 5/10 or 10/10?
Depends on where we are. What are we doing?
Depends on where we are and what we're doing. I have a great deal of mechanical sympathy in all cars, but normally I'm just cruising. If I don't drive aggressively at all if I have like nowhere to be.
If I'm in the canyons with my car, I would say it's an 8/10 at most. Yeah. But I also go, this is my only car. We're in the canyon. You need to have a margin of safety. You know, lots of grip left.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drive my cars 8/10 really. Okay, jellied all over myself. What changes would we see in the auto industry if it were dominated more by women than men historically? I was impressed with Lynn Calder and wish there were more leaders like her. As a man asking men, I know we're probably not the best qualified to answer, but I'd love to hear your perspective. We should have asked Hannah that. Oh, wait, Is that a question for Hannah? Was that left over from another? No, right?
I think this was copied today.
Okay. I think you'd probably have better cars, to be honest with you. The cars would just be better if they listened to more women.
Well, because I think we get excited by, and I'm not trying. There's so many blanket statements about to happen, but that's the question. Like, we can distract ourselves with a great engine, and then we ignore the interior of the Corvette. You know, C5 and 6, manufacturing limitations being what they were. But it's easy to distract ourselves with some speed, and maybe women would go, well, yeah, but this is so lopsided. We need this to be more well-rounded.
Yeah,
it'd be better thought out, probably.
There'd be some really much better storage solutions.
Way better organized. For sure. Yeah. You probably never get in a car and go, what do you mean no cup holder? Like, we still have that problem today.
Yeah. I genuinely think if we go, and I'm talking about if women, and there are many, many women in the industry today, even though it's still male dominated, but if you had women in the auto industry starting at the levels we had today, starting in the 30s, I think you'd have better cars today.
I wonder how many female designers there are. That would be an interesting question.
There's a few. The woman, the 2017 to 2020 Acura NSX was designed by a young woman. I think someone who wasn't even 30.
Wow.
Love to talk to her.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, hang on. Let's go to Mini Finney. What are your favorite 7/10 cars? Cars that might not be at their best when wringing out their neck on track but have other redeeming qualities. It's a great question. And a lot of cars are like this. There's so many cars that are great 7/10 cars.
Maserati, the new Gran
The
Turismo.
Maserati Gran Turismo, the BMW Z4 with the stick, the new one. Classic BMWs.
Yeah.
Classic Ferraris.
Even E39 M5.
Yeah.
Like I know it drifts well and stuff, but when you go below that, it's just heavy. Like it's a much better 8/10 car.
My Acura NSX, first gen NSXs are fabulous 7/10 cars.
Yeah.
911s are fabulous I mean, a car that's great at 10/10 will also be great at 7/10. The question is, are there cars that are great at 7/10 that then become shit at 10/10?
Yeah,
right.
well, I think anything that is comfortably sprung.
Yeah.
When you start to go when you proper 10/10, that's when you start going, I need suspension, I need sway bars, because the movement of the body is too great and it's unsettling and it's slowing me down. Or you want wider, stickier tires.
Yeah.
Where car at 7/10 might have narrower tires, maybe a little more slip, more playful. Yeah, anything like that.
Yeah, but for example, the Amira AMG. I think that's a fabulous 7/10 car.
I think even the V6 Amira, same thing.
Yeah,
I think above 8/10, it's like, oh, the shifter's moving when I downshift a bit. The throttle was inconsistent when you're trying to rev match, but below that amount, it's like really nice.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. There's a bunch.
SL Mercedes.
There are a bunch of. They're not that fun. They're beautiful and they're great cruisers, but they're not fun. There's a bunch of people that have multiple questions, and we appreciate that. But I want to make sure that we get first
Sure,
timers.
we've hit Joey a lot.
B Cam for life. Talk me out of a Tomaso Pantera.
Can't do it. Can't talk you out of it.
I'll talk you out of buying a modified one. You should buy a stock one. They are better. We've talked about it a bunch. They're really cool cars, but you want a stock one, and
Look at that.
they're not all considered equal in the eyes of collectors.
Yeah.
There's wildly different values. But I like them too, man. I don't want to talk you out of them. But he's also considering a 997 Turbo, an R8 Viper, or C6 Z06. Dude, you're talking about 4 cars that are all from the same time period of 2005 to 2010, and then 1 car from 1973. Like, how well do you need this thing to work? He says, I work on cars for a living, so maintenance isn't too much of a concern. But like, a Pantera is nice, but it's old. So it's a 60-year-old car.
Like, how long is your enjoyable drive route? You know, if it's 50, 60 miles, sure. But if you're someone who likes to do coastal range rally, you know, and you want to do a multi-day, multi-leg rally, then one of the other cars you mentioned will be much more reliable, comfortable, etc. Now, I think if you don't do long drives, I'd say do the Pantera for a year as an experience, because all the other cars listed, you have the pick of them all the time. There's plenty around. But a Pantera, you want to find a good one. And when you find that good one, you buy it, drive it for a year, and then sell it. And you could probably improve it a bit because you know how to do that. Maybe just break even and drive it for free and then move on.
Yeah. Buying the government ain't going to fix your daddy issues, says, if Toyota does come out with a new MR2, which is a rumor, it's likely to have the 3-cylinder engine from the GR Corolla. Do you think it would suffer from the same problems as the AMG Amira with a hot hatch engine, or because it's not meant to be refined, would it get a pass? I think that 3-cylinder in the GR Corolla engine only does the vibraty thing when connected to the automatic gearbox. In the manual gearbox, it doesn't do that. We don't have a manual in the Amira to compare it to with that same engine, so we don't really know.
Because you can't completely decouple the drivetrain.
Yeah, but I do think the Toyota would probably get a pass, especially because that engine is obviously good enough for its other cars already. They have the engine.
It's a good point, but maybe are we asking the Amira to be too smooth, considering it's like the successor to the Elise, and I mean those were pretty aggressive cars. They weren't the smoothest things in the world, so I think it'd be fine. Yeah.
Last one, and then I honestly have to pee so bad that I'm going to call the show because of it. But I think we've done 90 minutes, haven't we?
More.
We've given the people
100 minutos.
We've given the people the fucking nothing they paid for this experience, except for the patrons who did pay for this experience. Last one, Craven Mohead. Oh no, is asking, can we get Bill Burr on the show? Working on it. We're actually having Dean Del Rey on the show on April 1st, who is Bill Burr's opener. So maybe I can fucking try to ask, but we'll see. Chris Limbright says, what are some shows or movies that absolutely nail the car and character pairings? It's a good question.
Good question.
It's hard. What is hard to me is going to find an answer that isn't so obvious. Like, I don't want to say, like, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Right.
That's lame. What's one where it's a little less obvious? I mean, I just read an article about the car placements in Severance, which I think were very smartly done. I think the car placements in Severance make it very hard to exactly date when this show is taking place. Like, the newest car we see is like maybe a 98 or 99 Volvo that Adam Scott's character drives. I don't think I've seen any newer cars than that, but there's cars that are like people's regular cars that are shit from the 60s. So they really kind of...
So on the flight
that.
back, while I was organizing footage, like I watched I Am Legend again, sort of in the background. And this has both good car placement and bad.
The GT500.
GT500 I think is bad car placement because it wasn't like justified. All of a sudden he's chasing deer but can't catch them in the GT500. Just run them over. He's trying to hunt deer with a rifle. Like, just hit one with a car.
Yeah.
It's very effective. There's a lot of evidence of that. And then you can eat the deer.
This has been a true method for many years.
He's like right behind 30 deer, and he's like, I just can't get a shot. You don't need to. So, and I get it. Like, you're out having fun. The apocalypse happened, but I think that was just a weird disconnected thing versus the expedition he drove that looked like it was ready, to survive anything. Made sense.
I mean, I think Mad Max Fury Road just does an incredible job of that.
Totally.
But if we're talking about like regular ass cars, I think who has a great, just a perfect? I'm trying to find one that's a boring car.
Lebowski. Those were boring shit
The
boxes.
dude, yeah, the cars in the
Old Nova, wasn't it? Like a 72.
Fucking some kind of green piece of shit. I don't know. All the cars in The Big Lebowski are great. All the cars in all Coen Brothers movies.
73 Grand Torino was the Lebowski car.
Yeah.
Wow.
Coen Brothers, they always nail it. I mean, Bill Murray as the fucking principal of the private school in Rushmore is driving a Turbo R. Which I was like, yeah, fucking Coen Brothers. Yeah, all Coen Brothers. Yeah, I really have to pee. So I'm going to call the game. Man, that's sorry the show went up a day late for everybody, but we were both traveling, so we got it up as quickly as we could.
Yep.
And of course, Sunday the 30th, 2 days, TST 1000 live recording. It's going to be live for everybody, not just patrons. It's going to be on the Smoking Tire Podcast YouTube channel, live for everybody. 8 hours, like 20 guests. Everyone's coming through. It's going to be a good time. And then, by the way, because it's episode 1000, it will actually air Thursday. So it's like live recording, but then it comes down Seinfeld Tuesday, and then the actual 8. I don't know can we upload an 8-hour video? It just is. It'll just take a long time, but
it'll just be all uploaded here.
Yeah, we have the super internet. All right. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. We love you all. See you next time.